Welcome, everybody. It is time for another of our series previews. Steve Goldstein, Randy Moller. The Cats are moving on for the fourth straight year to the second round of the playoffs. It's the second longest streak in the NHL right now. And another meeting, Randy, like 2 years ago in the second round with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you all know the names by now. We got Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares.
The core four.
The core four against the big guys for the Panthers.
Yep.
What do you think overall about the top six of both teams? Does anybody have an advantage? Do you think they kind of cancel each other out as they often do in these series? How do you break that down?
You know, I've just been thinking about the last day or so, and it's going to be very similar to when the Panthers played the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know, their top-end players with Kucherov and Point and Gensel and that. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they've got elite, high-end offensive talent up front. We all know about those players and what they can do, especially on the power play. So it's going to be very similar. And the game plan for the Florida Panthers, in my opinion, will be the same thing. Very physical. They'll have to be disciplined and not take a whole bunch of penalties because, let's face it, the Toronto Maple Leafs, with that talent, they just want to play in the power play. That's where they want to get their goals, on the power play, and try and grind it out 5-on-5.
Although the way the Panthers killed penalties against the Tampa Bay Lightning, they may not mind too much if they get on a few power plays. How about the depth? You mentioned the penalty kill, the pickups of Jones, Marchand, Sturm. The Panthers just simply, from a not only quality standpoint, but from a quantity standpoint, they've just got more guys that can kill penalties. Yeah,
and the depth. I mean, you and I were talking about all through the first round against Tampa Bay, how the Panthers, their depth really stepped up and made a difference. You talk about Sturm on that penalty kill. That takes a lot of pressure off of Reinhart and Barkov, and they don't have to play those extended minutes where you know they're going to play the power play and 5-on-5 in the matchups, but they can ease off their ice time on the penalty kill. So there's Sturm. Brad Marchand's been one of the best penalty killers in the NHL for 15 years, and that he can spot duty in that role as well. The depth of the Florida Panthers, and we saw it really come out in the series against Tampa Bay, where Marchand really felt comfortable on that Lundell-Loisterainen line, and there's no doubt the Panthers have the best so-called third line in the NHL, and they were really the difference makers in the last couple of games against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I really think that that's going to carry over into this series against Toronto. If you match up lines, as you mentioned, the first top six, the first two lines, maybe kind of cancel themselves out with the offense and the elite talent level. Where the Panthers have that advantage is that third line and then the energy line of the fourth line centered by Sturm.
You talk about the Lundell line, you mean 14 points in 2 games is good? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, games 4 and 5, they were just dynamic. You know, it's fascinating because that Loisterainen has been a terrific player.
Correct.
You know, 4 straight years in the playoffs, the kills, the block shots, the defensive mentality. The coaching staff, I think, has done a great job. You know, he was the fourth line center. Remember when they got here? They thought he was a top 9 guy. But for him to have a game like he did in game number 5 in Tampa in the clincher, Randy, 4 points, just the 5th Panther ever to do that in a playoff game, it seems like, along with Anton Lundell, there's more there offensively. How have you seen Brad Marchand help those two Finns in bringing that out?
Well, we're gonna quote when you and I one day during the last series we talked with Paul Maurice. He says we totally expect that Brad Marchand, because of the playmaking abilities that he has, he's going to find another gear for Lundell and Loisterainen on the offensive side. Sure enough, that's what we saw. And that line really gelled coming together. Now, you know they're great defensively, and that's their priority is to play defense first.
Still
even? Still.
Or are they looking
and
for goals
now the offense, how they're flourishing on the offense, whatever. Paul Maurice predicted it. He told us, watch what Brad Marchand is going to do for those 2 young Finns, and hopefully they can continue that in this series.
I may start calling him Brad Marchand-Einen, like the third Finn, so we'll get to that. All right, goaltending matchup in this series.
Yep.
You can't make it up, folks. It is fascinating. Anthony Stolarz, we know, is terrific all regular season last year for the Panthers. Did not start a playoff game. It was Sergei Bobrovsky's net winning the cup in Game 7 against Edmonton. Stolarz gets a contract from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Here they are, the 2 Panther goalies from a year ago going head-to-head. What have you seen from Stolarz? And, you know, give him credit. he was very good against the Ottawa Senators in their series win.
He definitely was, and but round number 2, round number 3, that's where Sergei Bobrovsky has the experience. Nothing against Anthony Stolarz. You wonder how the nerves are going to be. And another long series, he doesn't have the experience. So you got to give the advantage to Sergei Bobrovsky. He's been here before. He has won. He's lost. He's back won again. The experience for a goaltender at this stage in the playoffs will, I think, be a big factor in the series.
Big factor in every game the Panthers play. They are the number 1 forechecking team in the NHL through the first round. First in the league at creating forecheck chances.
Hits, physicality.
Hits, of course, and we know that's a huge factor. But Toronto, Randy, in the bottom third amongst the 16 playoff teams against the Ottawa Senators, defensively and allowing forecheck chances.
Right.
Is that really where the Panthers can make their way? And what do you make of that Toronto Maple Leafs defense? Can the Panthers get in there like they often do and wear them down over 7?
I expect the exact same thing as they did the Tampa Bay Lightning. Put the pressure on, cause those turnovers, and the turnovers turn into scoring chances. That will be a big factor for the Panthers if they have the success that they expect against Toronto. They showed that in the Ottawa series. They cracked a little bit under the pressure, aggressive of the quick Ottawa Senators. Panthers will try and do the same thing. They're going to be physical as they did the last time that they met, and the same thing as they did against Tampa Bay Lightning. That's the DNA. That's what the Panthers are all about. The quickness, the forechecking, the offense comes off that physicality. I expect the same thing in this series.
One more for you. You played defense in the NHL for a very long
Not
time.
very good though, but whatever.
Well, pretty high level for a number of years.
I fooled him for a few years.
For the odd in Buffalo to Madison Square Garden to the Miami Arena,
Off the glass, yeah.
Off the glass, get it out of the zone. Seth Jones.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit, for some of the older Panther fans, of Jay Bouwmeester. Does not get tired. You were down between the benches on our Script Sports broadcast for a number of the games against the Lightning. How effortless is that skating ability, does it seem, from Jones? And has he even exceeded your expectations? Remember when they got him, Paul Maurice said, it's probably going to take him 20, 25 games, and, well, he's right around there now.
Yeah, and he just doesn't seem to fatigue. And like you said, the style that Seth Jones plays, he doesn't exert a lot of energy if he doesn't need to. They want to keep his ice time down around 20 minutes. But when he was called upon in this series, especially with the Panthers missing Aaron Ekblad for 3 out of the 5 games, his ice time increased, and I think he got better and better. He plays composed out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to rattle him who he plays with, what partner he plays with. I like how he is quarterbacked on the power play. He's getting the puck to the front of the net where Reinhart and Verhaeghe and Barkov are, and Tkachuk as well. He knows his role. He has fit in perfectly. And to answer the long-winded answer, he has exceeded my expectations. We knew that he was going to be a dominant player, but he was a big factor in why the Panthers won in 5 games against Tampa.
Just another great acquisition and a long line of them on this Florida Panthers team. A reminder, everybody, you can still catch us on Script Sports. We'll have a pregame show 30 minutes before each game. We'll be on site and also in the studio, so we'll get you set for every game. And, of course, follow the Panthers on all your social media channels and platforms. For Randy Moller, I'm Steve Goldstein. Panthers and Maple Leafs coming up. Enjoy it, everybody.